Welcome to Preferred Lies here at East Lake Golf Club, Atlanta, Georgia. Tour Championship, the last event of the inaugural FedEx Cup playoffs, the fourth event, the grand finale. I'm here with Steve Elling, CBSSports.com, Jeff Babineau of Golfweek. I'm Jeff Rude, and we're going to talk on this first segment about, are the FedEx Cup playoffs working? Have they been a success? How good have they been? How bad have they been? Stephen, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, success or failure. I've been to all four of them, which means I probably need to be either fitted for a medal or a dunce cap.
We just took that off.
Yeah, I took my Dodger hat off. So it's hard to put a yes or no on it. I think it's been a mixed bag. I think if you look at the Sundays, the 3 Sundays we've had so far, it's been a spectacular success on the field of play. And there's, the evidence is pretty incontrovertible when you've got, say, at Boston, 18 of the top 20 in the world rankings. You can't really nitpick at that too much, and you've got Tiger and Phil going at it down the stretch, and Tiger beating him basically eye to eye for the very first time. And what did they promise to deliver here? Several things, most notably the best guys in the world going head-to-head more often. We've had that. It's just been the stumbling blocks along the way. TV ratings haven't been spectacular. Fan attendance has been spotty.
Not those small details. I mean, the fundamental question, are we better than we were a year ago with golf? And I think you have to say yes. I mean, for what it's delivered. I mean, like you say, we've had some great finishes. I mean, Tiger and Phil, 3 days in Boston.
Yeah.
Tiger lighting it up last Sunday in Chicago.
Yep.
The tour last week had a 113% increase in ratings. They have had bad TV ratings, but for the first time against football, they had a 100% increase. I mean, I think you can't answer yes or no. I'd have to say yes, because here we are past September 1 and we're talking golf.
Right. Yeah, I'm not one to drink Camp Ponte Vedra Kool-Aid, but
copiously.
Yes. But I think it's been great. I think you got to look at 2 things. It's been great for 2 reasons. The drama on the golf course. Stricker made the birdie run to win the first one. Phil Tiger duel in the second one. Tiger shooting 128 on the weekend. I repeat that, 128 on the weekend. That's an average of 64 at Cog Hill, which wants to get a U.S. Open, which is not an easy golf course. Granted, it was soft because of the rain. That's the first reason. The other reason is that look at the bonus events that you get, the great fields after the PGA Championship, which is normally a dead zone. So I don't think it could have been any better. The only way it could have been better is if Tiger had played the first one and Phil had played the third one and Ernie played it. But here's the thing that people are missing with that, I think, is that had you had the Westchester event, normally a bunch of guys would skip and nobody would even blink an eye. The Western Open, where Phil and other guys don't come, Ernie and Garcia, nobody would blink an eye. Same thing with Boston. Guys would take off. But now that it's all there, one guy takes a week off and it gets a lot of attention. But it's been a success.
Right. And Steve has a point. Can they get better? Sure, they can get better. And I think going forward, you obviously have to have some tweaks. We're going to run into a big train next year when these guys are asked to play 5 in a row at the end of the year.
Right.
The last one being the Ryder Cup.
Right.
Are they going to skip? Yeah, you bet they're going to skip.
Right.
So maybe there's a problem with the word playoffs, because guys, Calc today was going, can the Colts skip around to the playoffs and still play in the NFL? Maybe the word playoffs is what has Joe Fan kind of caught up, because how do Phil and Tiger skip an event in the playoffs?
Well,
and here they are fighting it out for the title.
Well, I think what you end up the regional reaction in Westchester when Tiger doesn't show is that he's snubbed New York City. So obviously you can pretty well predict how the New York media is going to react to that, especially when he shows up 3 days later pimping his video game in the streets of Manhattan. That's not going to go down real well. And you move to Chicago, and there's a massive billboard on I-55 just north of the golf course there, and Phil Mickelson's one of the 4 guys on the billboard, and he's not there. So I think if the reason there has been...
They didn't spray paint him out?
No big X on it or WD. They should have just defaced it. The reason why you've had some regional outpouring on the Grumland side is that while the tour has delivered plenty, did it deliver exactly what it promised? And I think, if anything, they probably overreached with the advertising. There was an awful lot
they had to market crazy the first year. They had to do that. Did we get browbeat with all of it? Sure we did. Yeah, but on face value, the only flaw in the whole thing is they crammed the schedule in because they crammed it in between Firestone
right.
and the PGA and the Ryder Cup on one end, and it just didn't fit with what players are normally wired to do.
I think 4 weeks in and of itself is a broad expectation for the certain upper niches of the tour hierarchy, but when you throw in a WGC and a PGA a week off, and then on the butt end of it, another one of the cup competitions, the international cup competitions. That's more than any of these guys have ever played.
Two PGA
can
Tour
they do
events
it?
Too. I mean, two PGA Tour manufactured events, the WGC and the President's Cup. So it is stretching these guys, no doubt.
Right, they're cramming too much in there. There needs to be a little breather built in there. I mean, one thing that I like is play 3 playoff events, take a week off, give everybody a chance to catch a breath, build up a little anticipation, like the Super Bowl has 2 weeks off. Build a little, maybe put a fall series event there. Then those guys don't have to play 7 in a row.
We were half joking in the media room a little while ago. Next year there's just no conceivable way guys are going to play 5 straight. It's not going to happen.
Right.
So maybe next year you take the top 10 when they do the reseeding after the regular season ends and require them to sit out a week. But you got to state what week it's going to be so that all these municipalities can market their programs and tournaments accordingly and stick to it. And if you miss the rest of it, they bring the wrath of God down on you.
I'm skipping.
So you skip 1 week. You got to pick the week. You got to declare what it is, and then those 10 guys are out, and then everybody else has got a chance, sort of like they have with Tiger and Phil, to get a little bit closer. And Tiger and Phil probably still be doing it next year.
I'm just not skipping that week that Tiger's playing.
There you go. Hey, what if you skip a week, you lose a few points? How about that?
We could do that.
How about starting the thing at the PGA Championship, what they're not going to do because it's not their event?
Right.
So this is about turf and money and stuff. So
how about simplifying?
How
about simplifying the points and just using the money list? What do you need points for? There is points. It's the money list.
No,
it's
I like
the
money
years.
list too. I think the people will follow it better.
They've always followed it. They followed it for 100 years.
It wasn't all that different anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's just call it the FedEx money list if you got to sell
the
thing.
But it's unfair to the guys coming out of Q School and out of the off the Nationwide Tour because those guys don't get in events. I mean, take a guy like Michael Boyd, but he got in 14, 15 events so he's running uphill and he's not in any of those free money events, the WGCs and so forth. That's the reason that they didn't go by the money list, to give other guys a little more of a level playing field.
Well, then next time you see him, explain to him how they used to have to Monday qualify just to get into these things, and maybe he'll take a different view of his lot in life back in the rabbit
conversation days. For another day.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we're going to talk on whether Steve Stricker and Phil Mickelson can overtake Tiger Woods this week.